Ooh, something to drink, finally. Oh, wait a minute. Is this non-alcoholic? Frigid, less drinking and more reviewing. Ugh, fine. My name is Frigid Winds, and these are my top 5 survival games. Number 5. Borderlands 2. I have to note that the Borderlands series was probably one of the more fun series that I've had to play. While I don't think it gets the idea of a wasteland down pat, it does get the idea of how to hunt down treasure on a backwater planet. It's a blend of science fiction, fantasy, gunplay, and comedy that makes this series what it is. It had that surreal, cartoonish feel to it. With challenging enemies, boss fights, and quests to keep you immersed and occupied throughout the story. Plus, Handsome Jack has to by far be one of the best villains I've ever come across. And, after you've beaten the game, there's plenty of DLC to keep you busy. I don't want to spoil the game for anybody, but I can say that it's well worth your time to go through the entirety of the game. For providing a fun, backwater treasure hunting experience, Borderlands 2 takes the number 5 slot. Number 4. Playing Terraria, that's actually a step up from playing Minecraft for me. The game starts with the mundane survival basics. Build a structure, build weapons, armor, basically anything that you might need to survive. If you're smart, you can even lay out some of the terrain before you even fight some of the tougher enemies. And then the game completely jumps the shark, but in a good way. You make your way all the way to the center of the Earth just to break the demonic fourth wall, and the game becomes infinitely more colorful and crazy. And while this game is a 2D platforming experience at its core, the boss fights and customization for your equipment is still rather extensive. The game is fun, if not frustrating when you come across one or two of those enemies that might make you shout at the screen. I'm looking at you, disembodied tomb skeleton. For being a colorful Metroidvania romp through the middle of nowhere, Terraria takes the number 4 slot. Number 3. You'd think this one would be higher on my list, huh? Fallout 4 has always been a favorite of mine. It hits close to home. Problem is, while it does have its fun experiences, I always come back to seeing that the locales are less than sufficient. Oh, the Boston Wasteland is colorful enough, but the options they have for you making your bases are a little bit lackluster. Also, don't equip your townsfolk with rocket launchers. They'll aim it right in front of your face. The DLCs and the mods that have made up for it, but I can't quite give them the top slot. For a somewhat buggy but fun experience through the wasteland, I give Fallout 4 the number 3 slot. Number 2. As much as I hate to admit it, Starbound has more going for it than some might think. Unlike Terraria, this game actually has a story now. The game is also not only multiplayer, but moddable. There are even a few worlds that have that scorched earth kind of feel. The kind that pay homage to the Mad Max and Fist of the North Star style wastelands. Build a base. Make a server where you can compete as teams. This game is really what you make of it, both literally and metaphorically. It's definitely worth a shot. For being a versatile game and allowing you to survive the universe, Starbound takes the number 2 slot. And the number 1 slot is Resident Evil 2. Yeah, we're delving back a bit into the PlayStation era. The fact is, as soon as this game was released, it had a major impact on the Biohazard Resident Evil series. There's just something about this game that makes me reminiscent of fighting against both the odds and having an impending sense of doom. Back in the day, this is one of the defining games of the survival horror genre. This was one of those games where you really were pitted against the odds with limited ammo, healing, and having to be smart about your environment. Not to mention that this game was also the premise for many of the Resident Evil games to come. Games like Resident Evil 3, Code Veronica, and Operation Raccoon City. Well, not all the games are successful. There is no question as to why this game was revisited again and again. Leon and Claire are both celebrated as series favorites, and the game told the same story from 2 different perspectives using 2 different discs. And all of this material and story was given to you up front, back in the day before they decided to sell things piecemeal. I won't pretend that the acting and the gameplay is better than some of the things that have come out in the present, but for having a complete story, a good theme, and being a trendsetter for so many series to come, Resident Evil 2 takes the top #1 slot. Now, whether you agree or not with this list, I really don't care. It's my list. Though I suppose if you want to, you can leave your comments in the sections below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to play some pinball. Frigid, get out of my Fallout Shelter file. Make me.